Welcome everyone to Train Tuesday. I'm your host Jim Wiggin with Athearn Trains, and so glad to have you on board. If you are catching us during the live, thanks for joining us. If you're catching us after the fact and you found us on YouTube, thanks. And if you like the content that you see here, do us a favor, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video lands in our YouTube channel. Now, for those of you that are joining us live, welcome. I see Elko Man Kyle, Delta 9, BNSF 9708. Sid, DG Model Works is in the house. Darren, Willie, Charles, Donnie, and Terry, just to name a few. We're going to be talking covered hoppers tonight, specifically Pullman Standard 2893 covered hoppers. And we're going to be talking both HO scale and N scale. In fact, we're going to be talking Athearn Genesis in the HO scale, and then we're going to talk Athearn N. So we've got something for everybody here tonight. We'll talk about those models and some of their features. Plus, I've got some exciting news and an announcement for you at the end of the show. And if we have time, I'll answer a few of your questions. Let's do one more round of shout outs and then we get started. I see Daniel, Tyler, Robin, Ted, Brody, Harold, Greg, Dave, Relatable 100. He says, hello from Illinois, Italian, that's what's for dinner. Hey, sounds pretty good to me. I see Ronald and Randall and Donnie, and I've seen folks calling in from South Africa and a little bit closer to home in South Carolina. So wherever you are joining us live tonight or on YouTube, wherever you're joining us, I hope you're having a pleasant evening or day. Let's talk about some Pullman Standards covered hoppers. And we're going to start in the Genesis series. Now, a little bit of background, and remember, we're going to be talking about both the HO scale and the N scale, so this prototype information is relevant for both scales. Now, Pullman Standard dominated the covered hopper car market beginning in the 1950s, and it was thanks to its design success of their PS2 series of covered hoppers. Designed to carry bulk commodities such as grain, cement, and plastic pellets, these cars roamed the rails of North America for decades, attesting to their utilitarian functionality. So what you see on your screen right here, this is a covered hopper that is actually in stock right now. This is from the previous release. This is also HO Genesis. And if you like this particular hopper, the item number that you'll need to order this is ATHG 73620. Again, the item number for this car is ATHG 73620. And again, these are in stock now at your dealer. If your dealer does not happen to have one of these in the shop, have them call Horizon and order one of these up for you. These are beautiful cars. We're going to talk a little bit about the detail in a little bit, but let's first talk about what we're going to be offering for pre-order. And you have until Friday, December 29th, to place your pre-orders on everything that we're going to be talking about tonight. So we're going to start out with this really cool car, this Jack Frost. This is a 1954 on up era car. Now, a lot of people are saying, man, you know, I've never seen these. Well, they did actually use these. Jack Frost, of course, was a sugar company that was later bought up by Domino, I believe in the late 1970s, if my memory serves me correctly. They did actually use covered hoppers used to transport refined sugar. And so you could see these in the 1950s into the 60s all over the system. By the 1970s, they also were still using the covered hoppers, albeit a lot of them were using Reading Railroad covered hoppers. So this one here, this is car number 302. We're going to be offering these cars as 3 different road numbers. So if you like the Jack Frost and you want to have 3 Jack Frost cars for maybe your HO scale bakery that you have online, you have the option of picking up road number 302, 309, as well as 313. Coming up next is the Milwaukee Road. Now, this is a Prime for Grime version. This is a 1970s car. This is car number 98007. We're also going to offer car numbers 98023 and 98042. Again, remember this is Prime for Grime, so you will see a little bit of a difference in the price, but these Genesis models with the Prime for Grime just look amazing. All right, sticking with let's go back to the East Coast and let's go into the 50s again. This is 54. Certainly can see these right up into the Penn Central and maybe even early Conrail era. This is the New York Central. This is car number 883038. Very popular paint scheme, one that we had a lot of requests on our Athearn product suggestion email. We're also going to be offering two additional cars, car numbers 883059 as well as 883085. On the other side of the coast, we've got Southern Pacific, and we're going to go into the 1970s with these cars. This is car number 401877. You can also add to your collection 401995 as well as 402020. Now we're not done. We've got three more cars to show you within the Genesis line, and we've got one here a little bit different. Now the cars that I've shown previously, you have the option of getting one or all three road numbers. There's going to be a little bit difference here, starting with the Weyerhaeuser. This is a 1980s car, and this is the only one that's available. WTCX number 088 is the only car that we're offering in the Weyerhaeuser paint scheme in this run. Now, I did have a comment from a gentleman last week on social media saying, why would a paper company or Weyerhaeuser have covered hoppers? Well, it's really simple if you think about it. Weyerhaeuser actually had a really sizable railroad. And what is one thing that railroad locomotives need for traction? And that's sand. These were service sand covered hoppers. And number 88 was indeed on the roster in the 1980s. So this is indeed a real model. And again, this is Genesis. So we're going to be picking prototype specific models. Coming up next, we're going with the Southern Railroad and this 1970s era paint scheme. Southern modelers, you have the option of getting one or all three road numbers for this particular car. This is car number 93081. Additionally, you can pick up cars number 93263 as well as 93000. And then finally, we're going to go into the Midwest here with the Wabash. This is another Prime for Grime example. Again, this is 1970s, and we're offering two different road numbers for this particular car. The car that you see on your screen here is 31133, and we're also going to offer car 31140. And again, 1970s Wabash, and it's going to be Prime for Grime. Now think about it. 1970s Wabash wasn't around, right? Correct. Wabash was gone by 1964. So this is perfect for you guys that are modeling the 1970s and have some Norfolk Western equipment on your railroad, or you're just a modeler of the 1970s and appreciate all the variations of roads that you can offer on your layout. So going back to our picture of the model that's actually available now, the great thing is you can go to your hobby shop and pick this model up now, as well as pre-order the ones that we just talked about. Now, if you're not familiar with these cars, here are some of the features of the 2893 covered hopper. They're going to have separately applied round roof hatches, photo etched metal roof walk, factory applied grab irons, detailed outlets, separate brake cylinder valve and air reservoir with brake plumbing, weighted for optimum performance, of course. They're going to include 33-inch solid nickel wheels. These are accurately painted and printed for prototypical realism. They're highly detailed, injection molded bodies, coupler lift bars, train line hoses, brake hoses and hardware, body mounted McHenry scale knuckle couplers, and of course, since it's Genesis, full underframe detail, air brake reservoir, control valve, and brake cylinder with plumbing and brake rod details. And if you need to know, the minimum radius on these is 18 inches. Now, these are all being sold as individual cars. And again, take a look at the website, take a look with your dealer, Some of these cars are being offered with 3 different road numbers, some just 2, and in the case of the Warehouser, just 1. Now the Prime for Grime models are going to MSRP at $59.99. Standard models, or factory fresh models I like to call them, are going to be $54.99. Again, that is MSRP, so please talk to your dealer. Don't get sticker shock. That is MSRP. Since Athearn sells directly to the dealer, um, your price is going to be different than our MSRP price. All right, so let's switch scales quickly. And let's go to N. And you Chessie fans out there, I don't know if there's any N scale Chessie fans with us tonight, but you're in luck as well. This is from the previous run. This is Baltimore and Ohio 628038, and this is indeed in stock. So if you're an N scale modeler and you like the Chessie, this is a mid 70s car. The part number or the item number on this car is ATH 28348. Again, that's ATH 28348. And again, these are in stock now. Now let's talk about what we're going to be offering in N scale. So like the HO, you N scale guys get to see the same roads. We're going to offer that cool Jack Frost 1954 era car. Again, you have the option of picking up either 1 or all 3 road numbers. In this case, we have 302 pictured here, 309, and 313. Again, this is a great car if you've got a bakery on your layout or your switching module, anything like that. This is perfect for that. Coming up next, we've got Milwaukee Road, again from 1970s era. This is car number 98007. Likewise, you're also going to have the option of picking up cars numbers 98023 and 98042. Now, the HO versions are prime for grime. The N scale versions are also prime for grime. So just because you're modeling the smaller scale doesn't mean you don't get to have the benefits of prime for grime. We're offering that with this Milwaukee Road car as well. Okay, N scale guys, if you're modeling the 1954 on up era and certainly into the Penn Central era, you can pick up these New York Central cars. This is car number 883038, and we're also going to offer 2 additional road numbers of this car, 883059, 883085. And believe it or not, some of these would last in this paint scheme into the 70s, into the Conrail era. So you can pick these up if you're modeling the 60s, the 70s. After that, you're going to have to start doing some research because pretty much from the mid 70s, these would have been showing some serious age. Next, we've got Southern Pacific for our West Coast modelers. This is 1970s era. Southern Pacific car number here is 401877. And Southern Pacific modelers, you get 2 additional cars to add to the collection. Cars number 401995 as well as 402020 can be added to your fleet. And now we're gonna let you guys have the same cool stuff as the HO scale guys. Here's the Weyerhaeuser. This is a 1980s era car. This is number 88. Now, if you still don't believe me, do a search. This car does indeed exist on the interweb in pictures. This car was on the grounds in the 1980s. And again, this is for service sand. So you're still going to have a chance to run this in N scale, just like the HO scale guys. For those who have the affinity for the Southern Railroad in N scale, we've also got these cars here for you. 1970s era. The first car that's shown on your screen is 93081. Additionally, we're going to offer 2 additional cars, 93263 as well as 93300. And then finally, 1970s era Wabash. Again, so if you're doing Norfolk Western, you can justify this because this is a prime for grime. This is how it appeared in the 1970s. We've done the first stages of making this look old and used. You can add the rest of the rust and dust to your liking to complete that picture. Now this is car number 31133, and we're also going to offer car number 31140. So again, prime for grime Wabash 1970s. Now, N scale guys, let's talk a little bit about the detail that you're going to see with these Athearn N scale cars. We're going to go back to our Chessie um, as an example. And again, this Chessie car is available right now. So if you really like it, and who wouldn't, you want to pick this up through your dealer. These will all have separately applied round roof hatches, brake wheel, and walkways, separately applied outlets and detailed braces, body-mounted McHenry operating scale knuckle couplers, machine metal wheels with the RP25 contours, which means they'll operate on all forms of N-scale track. And the minimum radius on these is 11 inches. So you can still run these on everything from T-Track to N-Rail or N-Track, Primo N, or a modestly sized N-scale home layout. Now, MSRP on these cars, if you go for the Prime for Grime, they're going to be $37.99. If you go for the factory fresh versions, they are $32.99. And again, that's MSRP, so keep that in mind. Talk to your dealer for your price. So there you have it. We've got two different versions of the Pullman Standard 2893 covered hoppers. These are great for layouts, anything from cement to sand. In the case of the Jack Frost, refined sugar for bakeries. The operating possibilities of these cars can literally be endless. So if you've been looking for a covered hopper that will fit the needs from 1950s, mid 1950s until the 1970s or the 1980s in the case of the Weyerhaeuser car, you've got some roads to choose from. All right, let's take a few questions here and see what is on your minds. We'll talk mainly about the covered hoppers, but if you've got some other questions for Athearn, now's the time to ask. Again, you have got until Friday the 29th to place your pre-orders on these cars. Let's see. Harold, yeah, Domino Sugar. I'm not sure if you missed that or Domino Sugar basically took over Jack Frost. I believe memory, if memory serves me correctly, it was sometime in the mid 70s, but it's been a little bit since I read that article. Bruce, here's a question that I'm going to answer because it's the elephant in the room right now. Hey, Jim, how do you find shipment dates on items? Well, I wish there was an easier way for you. And I've said this for a couple of weeks now. We have got web developers working on our website. This past summer, we had a software integration. And just like any software integration, um, for the most part, it was successful, but there were some major bumps in the road, and our web developers have been working like crazy to fix that. And one of the disadvantages, or one of those bumps in the road, was we lost our ETAs on all of our products. And if you're a model railroad guy like me, well, we kind of want to know when our GP15s or GP38-2s or even a covered hopper is coming in because we budget stuff. We all do that. And unfortunately, we don't have that. So right now, one of the best ways to get that answered is I do watch the social media on both Facebook and Instagram. If there's a particular locomotive that you're waiting on or a freight car, just shoot the question on there and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Now, I apologize, they are trying to get those fixed on the website. I'm hoping by the first of the year, the website will be back to normal. Let's see, I'm going to go back a little bit to see if there was any questions while I was talking about the presentation. I would agree. I really don't have a use for one in either HO or N, but I probably will get one just because it's cool. And it's one that you don't really see very often. Jake here, Weyerhaeuser is cool. Jim said it was sand for railroad, but for reference, paper companies consume kaolin and starch by the carload. Correct, but you still need sand for the traction. You got sanders. We don't have working sanders yet in the Genesis series, sorry. But in the real railroad or the prototype world, since Weyerhaeuser had a pretty good fleet roster of locomotives. In fact, we've offered them in the past. They still need sand for traction, and that's how they would get their traction sand. Let's see. Andrew Neil Falconer says, I need to find Grand Trunk Western in HL. Let's see. You might want to stick around a little bit. I think early in the year we've got some coming out. David Higgins spotted the BN switcher on the shelf behind me. Yeah, my little tiny switching layout. That is actually the SW1500. If you haven't seen some of the reviews, they're starting to hit the YouTube channels right now. Those are in stock, and I'm really impressed with these. I'm still torn if I want to get the Conrail or the Burlington Northern. I'm kind of torn between the two. Now, the Burlington Northern behind me and all of the SW1500s that have just gotten into stock in the last week or so, they're available as DC only or DCC with sound, and in this case, Tsunami 2. So they sound amazing. I guarantee you, if you are getting a sound locomotive, you're going to want to adjust the CV rating on that a little bit, your values, because they are loud from the factory, at least for me. And they've got a lot of things going for them that the original ones that we did a few years back do not have. They've got a brand new CAN motor. They've got a much better drivetrain, a lot more detail than what used to be there, and the lighting features as well. They actually have ground truck lights on them. So that's one of the features that we stuck in them in this latest run. They are in stock right now. So talk to your dealer if you're needing a switcher. Terry spots the other car. He says, "Do I see a Hams car in the background there?" Yes, you do. And those should be in stock as well at your dealer. And anybody that knows, beer cars go quickly. So they're already, I think the N scale ones are already completely sold out. But the HO scale ones are still a few left. So if you've been looking for those, um, you might want to talk to your dealer. All right, let's see what other new comments we've got. Yes, Derek at DG Model Works just reminded me he will be doing a review for us real soon. I think he's got the Conrail one. We've got a few other reviews out there for this locomotive. It's kind of neat to see these YouTube videos. And I mean, we all do it, whether we're wanting to see a review of a newest model locomotive or whatever tool or thing that we want to check out. We can go to YouTube and see a review. And so Derek will be doing that here pretty soon. Be sure to see that. Paul with his weekly reminder on the survey. I think Paul likes surveys. I think we should do a survey and see if Paul likes surveys. Probably by this weekend. We finally got it done. It's a long survey this time. We've got a lot of stuff in there that we want to know about you. So if you've signed up for our Athearn email newsletter, please look for that survey probably this weekend. We'll probably post it to social media as well. If you're not a part of the Athearn newsletter, you can go to our website and scroll to the bottom and click a link to sign up for that email. And I'm hoping, as we go into 2024, to give you even more interesting stuff through that. Let's see. A couple of questions asking if this locomotive is going to be offered next, that locomotive is going to be offered next. Nah, I'm gonna make you guys keep guessing. Rick wants to know if there's any ETA date on the CNW Genesis GP50s. Have they changed yet? I've been waiting since March. Yes, a lot of us have. Excuse me. Depending on when you got an answer last, depends on whether that has changed or not. Last I knew, it was, I believe, late spring, early summer of 2024. So that's when we should see those. All right, one more question, then I've got some news for you, and then we're going to get back to it. Got one from Charles, who is a N-Scale modeler. And N-Scale guys, we hear you, trust me. N-Scale guys are probably the most vocal group of model railroaders next to those pesky 164 scale modelers. We would like to do a lot of stuff in N-Scale. Unfortunately, the bandwidth of our product development is pretty short-handed right now. There is a lot going on every product developer's plate, and we're trying to get those out. And of course, I remind a lot of you N-Scale guys, we came out with 3 brand new releases within the last year, so don't forget about those. That being said, auto rack cars of today, I would love that. I would love it if we could just somehow figure out a way to just get those in there, because yes, there's definitely a need for those. That being said, if there's something that you want to see on N-Scale or HO scale for that matter, feel free to contact us at Athearn-product suggestions at athearn.com and let us know what you want. That's how we came up with the N-Scale Genesis 13K tank cars. That was a request. That was a survey that you guys had requested that. All right. Well, I've got some special news for you right now, and let's see if I can add this here. It's been a little bit, but we're going to have a special holiday special, Athearn Extra, next Thursday. That's going to be the 21st, and Tony Cook's going to come on board and join me, and you're probably seeing those pictures up there, probably wondering what that's all about. Well, it's been a little bit, but it's time for another contest. And a lot of guys have been asking for a contest, and I finally got to a point where I get some time, and I said, you know what? The holidays are here. Let's go ahead and do a contest. So a couple of years back, we did a photo contest of how you incorporate your model railroad into the holidays. So it doesn't matter if you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or any other winter holiday. We want to see how you bring your model railroad into that holiday. So you can see some examples here of what we got in the past, and it's going to be pretty simple. You only have less than a week, so you're going to want to get your pictures into us soon, but there's a couple of things that I'm going to ask for you. Don't flood the social media feed, because I'm not going to be able to download all of those in time. What I need you to do is to first make sure that it's an Athearn product and it's in a holiday setting, whether maybe you've got some type of setup near or around your tree, or maybe you've made a really cool winter scene in your HO or N-Scale layout. We want to see that. Now make sure that the picture is a JPEG and it's at least 300 DPI, and there's the address that we need you to send those to. Those entries need to be sent into athearncontest@horizonhobby.com. As you can see, the contest ends on the 20th, which just happens to be the day before Tony and I go live with the Athearn Extra. And why is that? Well, that's because we're going to announce the winner of the holiday contest on the Athearn Extra. So the winner is going to get a brand new freight car. In fact, I've got the actual car right here in the new packaging, I might add. This is the NACC 50-foot box car. And these are the new Athearn. In fact, I'll just go ahead and make that bigger so you can see it. This is the new box art for the Athearn HO line. Really cool. And this car right here will be given to the winner. It's going to be pretty simple. We're just going to look to see what you guys come up with, and it's going to be the Athearn team's going to do the judging, and then on Thursday, the 21st at 7:00 p.m., we will have the Athearn Extra, and we will announce the winner there live on the show. So be sure to tune in for that. Be watching for the link. And here's another thing, another reason why you want to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You guys that are watching this live right now, and you guys that are watching this before the 14th, get an extra day ahead. The contest starts on the 14th, and you guys are hearing about it here for the first time. Nothing's gone out on social media yet. That's actually scheduled to go out later tomorrow night. So you guys get a jump up on that. So with that, one more, and let's see what kind of questions we've got out there. I remember seeing Train Jack asking before the show started, what is the ETA on the Amtrak 50th anniversary units? Later than I would like, later than what Athearn would like. We are trying like crazy to get things approved and done before the end of the year, but I can't promise that. I apologize. The Athearn team apologizes. Remember, those have to go through licensing. We work with Amtrak on those. We have a very close relationship with Amtrak. We want to make sure that everything is right, not just because of our licensing agreement, but because of you, the fans. So we're going to try for the end of the year, but I can't promise it. Charles Woods, yes. Ironically, the shortest day of the year, too, if I remember correctly. Going back to see if there's any other questions. Seeing some more questions. I'm surprised nobody has seen. It is kind of dark back there. There's something else that people have been asking about on the layout behind me. Kind of appropriate for winter. Stephen, yes, 50 footer. It's probably just it's kind of hard to see, but it is a 50 footer. Yep. And they are part of our NACC. This is the 50 foot and the Athearn line. So new box art. It's been some upgrades to this car. It's a beautiful car. It's the same type of car as the Hams car behind me. Keenan, as far as the Via P42s, about the same as the Amtrak. We're trying. We just don't know if we're going to make it by the end of the year. Sid caught it. Let's see, where'd Sid go? Yep, the rotary snowplow. That's behind me. That's the BNSF one. Those are in stock at your dealer right now. Kevin wants to know, is Athearn going to the train show in Springfield, Massachusetts? Yes, we are going to be there. And I'm really excited. I haven't said anything about this, but we're going to have a really cool release in the month of January that is pretty much, well, for all you guys that are on the East Coast, it says that Athearn is a West Coast road and we never do anything on the East Coast. You're going to be disappointed because we do have an East Coast regional, and I mean very regional, railroad that we're going to release in January. And in January, we're going to be at the Amherst Railroad Hobby Show. And I've got some stuff cooked up for you guys in New England. You're going to want to stop by the booth when we get there because I've got some special stuff that I'm going to be giving out. And I'm going to be trying a new thing for shows going on this year. Last year, I started making stickers for the different shows. We're going to continue that theme because us railroad guys really like stickers. And so I'm going to be doing some special stickers for specific shows throughout the year. So be sure to check that out. All right, I got time for one more question, and then I am going to let you guys get back to working on your layouts or whatever you have on your workshop bench. Stephen, if I spoke in my native dialect, 90% of the people on this broadcast would not understand me. I am a native of Concord, New Hampshire, so trust me. I am trying to speak in plain English, not my native tongue. A couple of guys asking why don't we do Canadian train shows? Um, really, we pretty much are sticking to the bigger shows. So we've got Amherst, which happens every year, or the Railroad Hobby Show, depending on who you. If you're a local like me, you call it the Big E. So keep in mind of that. We also have the Rocky Mountain Train Show, and the national show, which is all over the place this year. This coming year, it's going to be in Long Beach, California, and hopefully in 2024 we'll see Train Fest again in Milwaukee. I hope. We pretty much keep to those 5 core shows or those size of shows, mainly because Athearn is not as big as you might think it is. We're not a big team of guys. We don't have a tour bus that allows us to go to all these shows. And so we try to strategically pick the largest shows that we can get to. However, that being said, I'm hoping in 2024 to not only myself, but some of the other guys visit some of the smaller RPMs that take place throughout the United States and Canada. All right. Well, I think that's all we've got time for. So once again, remember everything that we talked about tonight is available for pre-order through your dealer, and that's until Friday the 29th. So in other words, if you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas, go to your hobby shop and order what you really want. I know I couldn't use any more ties, so there you have it. Go ahead and order either the HO Genesis or the N-Scale Athearn PS2893 covered hoppers. Next week, we'll have some more things that we'll be talking about. And keep an eye on social media for our photo contest for this year. I can't wait to see what you guys are coming up with. Until next time, everyone out there, be happy, be healthy, do some good modeling, and above all, high greens. Take care, everyone.